So, yesterday was the summer solstice. For me, that seems to mark the beginning of what looks like an exponential dip towards darkness and coldness and winter. Yeah, yesterday was the longest day of the year. I find that funny, how we say that some days are longer than others, because I thought they were all the same length, 24 hours. And that got me thinking about time, the ebb and the flow of it. So if you're ready, we'll begin in 3, 2, 1. That was a minute. A simple minute. Just 60 seconds. There's 60 of them in every hour. There's 1,440 in every day. But how did that minute feel? Now, I know for you, madam, you looked rather bored. That's okay. But I imagine that because of that, I saw you looking around, so I imagine that because of that feeling of boredom, that would have seemed like quite a long minute. Unless, of course, when you were looking around, you happened to catch something interesting, like a couple of old ladies fighting over soup, but I don't imagine that happened here. So, but you two seem to be laughing, and I imagine that that minute might have gone quicker, because time flies when you're enjoying yourself, doesn't it? So there's these two different feelings within the same time period there. So yeah, would I be right in thinking that was it seemed quite quick? It seemed quite slow over here. Yeah, it dragged out. I found it to be quite slow myself. It was painful actually. That was another minute. And you probably feel, and I imagine, that most of you will think that that minute there went slightly quicker than the minute before, probably because I gave you something to focus on. And although the things I said weren't exactly interesting, it was something, at least, to focus on. And that, in itself, will have maybe helped your brain stop thinking about the passing of time. And despite the fact that those 2 minutes might have seemed like they passed at different rates, you know fine well that they didn't, because time is a constant measure. It always takes the same amount of time for a minute to pass. But something as simple as our mood or our engagement in a moment in time can change how that measure is perceived in the brain. It's like distance. 5 kilometres will always be 5 kilometres, but if you're tired, that distance can seem a lot longer. Or speed. If you're driving alongside much scenery, at the same speed as you would in an open field, your brain could be tricked into thinking you were actually travelling faster than you were in another minute. I read recently that if you were to fall off the top of the Empire State Building, it would take only 8.6 seconds to touch the ground. 8.6 seconds, it seems like such a short amount of time for something that if it were to happen to you would surely in some way go on to define you. Surely it should be longer. .6 seconds isn't a lot of time to prepare for hitting the ground. Can I tell you something? Can I tell you a secret? Time isn't real. I mean, calendars, clocks, these things are real. We can see them and touch them, but time, it's just a concept. It's something we made up to help us mark life, the passing from day into night, into day again. Something to help us quantify decay and growth. The truth is, time isn't real. There is no time. The only thing there is and will ever be is right now.